Alright, we are recording, so click in, hit resume game. Yeah, continuing in Mad Max, the key was originally provided by WB Games, WBIE. Which is that now? Man. Because I think that might actually be two separate entities. Or maybe it is one entity and just two different, I don't remember.
You are glorious! All voices speak the same! Your legend is bustling!
Okay. I've got so much I want to do here. Because I'm sorry, I want to clear out as much of this stuff as I can. Alright, I will focus, though, on these things. So, like, not the scavenging location. Should be good without those. There's one minefield, and there's still one minefield in here. There. Yep. Do actually have a fair number of things to talk about.
Let's do this, dog.
Oh yeah, the one at the top of the list I have here is Going Medieval, which is the game I got to do a preview of back in March. Now has a release date for when it will be entering early access on Steam, Epic Games, and GOG. June 1st, and that actually was quite a fun game. Quite a fun preview. I was enjoying it. Did enjoy it, I should say. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the more complete experience, because it was fairly clear that there was stuff that wasn't yet enabled, or just needed to go longer into, like spend more time in the game before it would be unlocked. Yeah, so I am looking forward to that. And there's actually also a final beta period coming up 21st to 24th of May.
Send. Lead on.
Is it over there? Near that fire? Yes, it is. So yeah, I am personally happy to see that and looking forward to that. I was just also having to read through because I know I've got some stuff in there that is rumor. I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, the thing that I do want to talk about. Let's do the other. So I did talk about last week, Humble Bundle announced that they want to basically overhaul the design for their bundle web pages. Mainly with two changes, neither of which I really cared for. One is like, a UI change, and it's like, this isn't going to make it better. Going to this tab view, so it's harder to see things and how they're reflowing and stuff. It's like, this doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, the other was, they were going to do away with the, sliders for bundles. Basically meaning you would not be able to set the percentage of what you pay for what goes to developers / publishers, what goes to Humble Bundle, and what goes to charity. The backlash was significant, as I'm sure many people would predict. So they did release an update this week saying, okay, we're putting all the sliders back on, everybody has sliders again, and we will try to, make sure that we get feedback from people before we make a change like this again.
Let's go for him now.
Why not? Alright, fine, I'll just get closer to the thing. So I think that kind of sort of translates to the person whose bad idea this was has now been thoroughly proven to be an idiot. So now we're going to do the thing that the smart people that are here were probably saying to do, which is to either not make the change, or at least make sure that we engage the public on it first. So, yeah.
Now comes Lord Scrotus!
Ow!
Watch out!
Oh, man. My own guess and hope would be they just go something like, there's minimum amounts that have to go to each. Well, have to go to the developers and... Ah, damn it! Keep forgetting that it does that. Go to... A minimum amount has to go to developers, a minimum amount has to go to the... has to go Humble Bundle, and then whatever amount you want of... the rest can go to charity or wherever.
Yes, you know I would never leave her side.
I mean, personally, that would be fine with me. I mean, it's like, you know, I get it. You have a business, they have business, the developers are businesses as well. You want to cover that. That's fine. Just, you know, you shouldn't take away this thing that you kind of built your community with. Now, the next thing that I was starting to talk about, and it's like, I kind of decided to change talking about it because it's like, well, it's not, some of it is going to be my own opinion and speculation, so, yeah. Yes, I do. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 weeks ago when I brought up how and many places did as well, there was in the FAQ for Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition, there was an FAQ item that was talking about having, it's like, will it support the Fidelity FX Super Resolution from AMD, which is not yet out. And it said, no, because it wouldn't be compatible with our rendering system, so we can't, you know, enable that specifically. And that got a lot of people to go, wait a minute, you have it then? Like, you've seen this? Because there really hadn't been much information on it yet. They tried to walk that back, saying, no, we were actually referring to Fidelity FX stuff in general. And that, you know, you were just misinterpreting what we were saying there. It's like, you specifically said FSR in there. I mean, I could still believe that, yeah, it was kind of a mistake, but it's like, some of that stuff has no bearing on the rendering pipeline. Like, the contrast adaptive sharpening, the cast stuff, that's completely post-processing. It's irrelevant how you render, so... And I'm getting a drink of water, but I do want to keep talking about this. So personally, my feeling on it is they made a boo-boo and said something that they weren't supposed to. But I mean, it's, you know, whatever. Concerning that, but there has also been this past week some information that is rumor, but is also still rather interesting, including about FSR. That it... Can I take this? And? I don't even know what it is. I am definitely going to do that. I just... This? Yes. Hang on. Ooh. Okay, so the rumor is, and I don't know what all the sources are. I know one of them is Cortex, and, oh crap, hang on. I want to avoid that. Okay, which I looked at what Video Cards wrote up about it, and also looking at it, some of what they were saying, it's like, I'm not sure if they fully understand everything here, or Cortex doesn't necessarily fully understand everything here. And I did look at the video earlier today. I don't remember all of it, but basically the rumor, because it is officially still should only be considered a rumor, the big thing is it will be releasing in June, which would definitely be neat, as, you know, some people were pessimistically thinking it could be end of the year, but personally it's like they want it to come this year. Yeah, so often that does translate to end of the year, but it's still possible it could come anytime sooner. It's the performance, it's in the hands of developers, and the guy was saying that, according to his contacts, the performance is pretty good. It's easy to implement, in part because it apparently goes early in the pipeline. I don't know if I want. Well, I'm not even. Yeah, sure. There's a reason to do that. I just don't remember specifically what it is. And I don't think I'm using. I don't think I have a special use for all of it. Yeah, I do not have that much.
That yours looks meaner compared to the pile of crap it was.
But that it's put into the rendering pipeline early. It's early in the pipeline, whereas DLSS is apparently later, like almost post-process. It sounds like, which in some ways that does make sense. What it does, it would make sense that that's in post. There.
I heard a few.
What else was it saying? That apparently different versions were given to developers so they could track down any leak.
If you're looking to gain the favor of the god.
Seriously, that was part of the rumor, is that they actually have different, well, versions that perform differently, so if numbers were to leak out, it, AMD would be able to know who it was that leaked it. But in the Cortex video, the guy said that one of the developers that he spoke with is a small developer, and they even had it, and was saying that it was fairly easy to implement. And his point with that was this was a small developer, so the fact that AMD is sharing it with even the small guys, and that they're having an easy time, it's like that definitely expresses a level of confidence in it. That, you know, that is important. And it is. I mean, if you're sharing it with, you know, not just the EAs, the Ubisofts, the Activisions, and so forth, but just thinking, what would be a good example for indie studios? Because some of them, it's one of those weird things, because it's like, you know, I try to think of the name, but it's like the fact that I might be able to think of the name, though, does that kind of disqualify from being an indie? And I also, yeah, I actually shouldn't say anything, though, because I don't know. I don't want to say anything just in case anyone's like, oh, in case it was revealed, or I just somehow know who that developer is. Like, I got no idea. I have not spoken with any developers, I know that. It did just occur to me, though, one developer that on the larger side, but is still technically an indie developer, and is not too large, is Rebellion. I don't know why that's the one that entered my mind, maybe because it was some news today. Well, some news I wrote up today about it. Yeah, Rebellion is technically indie. It's a medium. I think it would be appropriate to call it medium size, but it is an indie. He's an independent developer. IO Interactive would be another way to think about it. So yeah, that is interesting. We'll see. It was also funny though because of how it was being presented as and maybe it'll work on NVIDIA. It's like all the fidelity effects technologies work, or at least can work on NVIDIA GPUs. It's just kind of how AMD's doing it. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not a big revelation. Also that it doesn't require any special AI acceleration, which it's also worth pointing out, neither does DLSS. Like, one thing that is talked about not too frequently, apparently the version in Control, because DLSS 1.0 was garbage. Nobody liked that. It wasn't good. And NVIDIA, they needed to work on it. Well, there we go. Control came out during that time, and they had a version of it, like a 1.5 or 1.6 version. I don't remember what it's technically referred to as. But it...
Such a mysterious force!
Sorry. It ran only on the compute cores. It didn't require tensor cores to work. So then clearly, there we go. Clearly, if that's the case, then you don't need it, the tensor cores for it to work. And also, you don't need the tensor cores for machine learning acceleration anyway. It's just a specific kind of machine learning, of AI that demands tensor cores. Ooh, that was bad. And that's something that has been the case since tensor cores were first announced. I mean, it's not like that's new information. It's good for some stuff, but it's not good for like, oh, any AI algorithm can be run on tensor cores. No, that's not how it works. Not even close.
Strap in! Opus is ready to eat blacktop!
So, yeah, it doesn't require... I don't know what it does. It really annoys me that it doesn't give you that information. I mean, true. Game's old at this point. It's not like it'll be updated with that. But it still is kind of annoying. That's how it works. But at least with it in, not requiring specialized hardware, that would further support the idea that, yeah, NVIDIA GPUs would be able to work with it. And also that a wide range of AMD GPUs will be able to use it. Which is good for a few things. One is somebody like me, who's currently using an RX 580 in my desktop. Or the RX Vega 64 in the test system currently. I will hopefully be able to change it out to the probably the 2016, maybe the 28. I don't know. Yeah, having a little bit of an adventure trying to get the Metro Exodus Enhanced Edition. I'll get to that. But it's like both of those, especially the 580, it's somewhat old at this point, so it becomes a question of, it's like, will it get support? That's best to do it this way. It's like, if it's just software side, then it should be easier. Then there's also those who are using APUs, where it's the integrated graphics on the CPU. They're probably going to be even more restricted as far as what's possible than my aging Polaris. Aging, but still awesome. I just don't want it sliding. Also consoles. Which, was it the video or was it the write-up that I saw from Video Card? Either way, though, it's something being talked about, to how probably the console version, or rather console support, would not come until later. Which also reminds me of another rumor I've seen, that allegedly Sony is working with AMD on a new APU for PlayStation 5 that might actually use a smaller, might be on 6nm instead of 7nm. Part of what I was seeing in conjunction with that was along lines of Sony wants it to be more efficient, not just more powerful. I'm sure that if they could get some more power out of it, they would like that. but have it take less power, run cooler, stuff like that.
Cockroach looking for a corpse. Like no more, boy.
Come on. Alright. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. Now another rumor, and that might also have Cortex as its source. I don't remember because that one I've not looked at any videos for. I've just been looking at different things, different write-ups about it. Is that, and definitely a rumor, that AMD's next generation GPUs will be not only chiplet based. Ooh, definitely do that. Ooh. That's not a happy
People
one.
ate their fill and threw out the rest.
The rumor is that the 7900 XT will be chiplet based, with the chiplets potentially being like, 80 CU chiplets, which is what the 6900 XT is. Well, yes. The 6900, 6900 XT, 6800 XT, and 6800 all use the same die, just different number of CUs are enabled. So it's like, two of those 80 CU dies together could be quite powerful, and part of the rumor is also like, potentially 3 times as powerful, which the 6900 XT is able to match in rasterization the 3090. So it's, significant.
You want to escort us as henchmen?
And also it's unclear, I think, just if we can believe the chiplet part, because it's like AMD already getting to that seems kind of fast. It's possible. It certainly is possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what we can predict. Would be neat though, because chiplets should enable the cards to be cheaper, but also more available. If they can go the full route like they did with Zen, in that you have basically one die that covers the entire stack. So you just mass produce that and let binning do the rest. Now, I would doubt that they would do that, though, with an 80 CU die, because that would be big. It's like that would still be quite large. Not as large as a 3090. Like, that is one thing that some people do, I think, neglect to consider, is that, yeah, the AMD GPUs that are matching or beating the NVIDIA ones are also doing it while being smaller. What is... Okay, it's to turn on the flashlight. But no, I don't... Multiple 80... Although, based on that and what we saw previously, maybe she did actually leave. Because that was like the letter to the guy, because Milton was the same name. Yeah, I just... An 80 CU die, I would just think that is so large. Why is that what you would build around? But at the same time, though, I guess it is a... like, let's say you got 2 of them that, only pass, say, 60 CU. So you put those 2 together, you got 120 compute units there. And it doesn't have to be as expensive as the 6090 that is, 80 CU, so it would be more performing, high performance. Maybe wouldn't cost as much, maybe it would. That's impossible to say unless you actually have the product, so I don't know. But it is an interesting idea nonetheless. Anyway, yeah, it's gonna, going forward, it's gonna be interesting. And I also had a thought that I made a note of. There is just, could you,
Sharpshooter!
could it be that smart access memory, or resizable bar and infinity cache, like, could that come to be used with, alright, so that clears all of that. Do need to get down here, but, you know, why not take the route that, you know, lets me also clear these. It occurred to me, could you potentially see that used in an APU? And I'm sure other people have talked about that. But with Infinity Cache there as well, like combining a CPU L3 cache with a GPU L3 cache, since it's all, you know, it would all be on the same die. I don't know. I don't know how viable that would be, but it is an interesting idea, I think.
But just go. I need to holler some hard-to-get parts in the engine bay.
See, I don't know. I don't know, but it could be interesting to see if AMD is able to bring greater unity between the CPU and GPU in an APU. Also, I saw apparently there was a comment from Intel that the DG2, the consumer targeting discrete graphics card, is right around the corner, supposedly. Don't know what that means. Don't know what that translates to. How soon that may be. I mean, who knows? Maybe that'll be in June as well, because E3 is supposed to be around then. So it's like, that'd be a good time for them to announce that. AMD can announce their FSR. Maybe some other stuff too. I mean, we'll see. It's hard to say what, like, hardware might be announced then from AMD, because, like, would you really want to announce, like, the 6600 series there? It's like the middle mid-range or lower mid-range? I don't know. Although that would be where you'd want, you know, FSR. Potentially, at least. I mean, it's hard to say, though, because the reasonable suspicion, sorry, reasonable expectation, suspicion wasn't the right word, is that FSR will be most effective at high resolution, because it will have more information to work with, and the loss of information by using a lower internal rendering resolution shouldn't be as severe.
Brutus didn't hit hard enough, huh?
What? Right there. Crap. Do that all over again. Oh, there you are. I mean, we shall see. We shall see what comes of that. Do I have anything else besides talking about the Metro Exodus stuff? Nope, looks like that's it. And actually, hang on, is that... Oh, just a moment, let me look at it. That's not actually accurate, because that would be a very stupid way to do it. So as I said, it looks like my issue with the Enhanced Edition of Metro Exodus is the review key, for whatever reason, hasn't qualified me for it, and I'm still trying to sort this out, so hopefully we will be able to sort it out. But, I mean, we'll just have to see, and it has not been the most fun trying to work with Epic support, because, like, I report it, I send in the ticket, and one of the things that like the first email I got was, okay, we received this, and because of, you know, what this is, I'm elevating. And then the next thing was, okay, I looked at your account and it says you don't actually own this. You own a Metro Last Light, though. So, yeah, you need to have the Metro Exodus for it. It's like, I do have Metro Exodus. Here's a screenshot of my owning it. It's like, oh, sorry for the confusion there. It's like, your system was wrong. And it really is screwed up.
Plague, riots, starvation, war, pestilence. It all came down around us.
It's also, though, kind of screwy, because if I look at the Metro Exodus store page, it doesn't even register that I own the game there. Like, I can still purchase it, even though I already have a copy. It recognizes that I already own the DLC, though, which will also provided as review codes, though, so yeah, it's definitely kind of screwed up. But no, this last response I got, it's like, okay, I can check that, but that had better not be the case, because that is so asinine if that is. That it's, you know, in order to play it, it does require, you know, ray tracing support in GPU. It's like, yeah, I get that to play it. It's not showing up in my library. I mean, it's like, that's a whole nother issue. But I mean, I can check. It's easy enough to pull out shut it down, pull out the Vega 64 and throw in. I think the 2060 would be more interesting, because I want to see how VOS, because apparently that is supported in there. Yes, thank you for that. And also DLSS 2.0, and I do feel that that would be more interesting to look at with the 2060 than the 28. So, yeah. Wait. What? Yeah, that's right, I actually didn't pick anything. What is this supposed to be? There's supposed to be another piece of scrap. So yeah, I'll have to mess around with that later. Ah, there we go. I spotted the climb point. What else have I got to talk about? Two things, I guess. One is I submitted the DLC review for the Immortals Phoenix Rising DLC, because I finished the third one, The Lost Gods, over the weekend and into Monday, I think? I don't remember exactly when I was playing that. I know part of it, though, was over Monday. So it was to Monday. I'm not going to be able to avoid this, so might as well. That was fun. Oh.
Even the littlest ones are armored up. Stomp it, and we'll tear that tire right off.
Yeah, so that's submitted. Hopefully it'll be out for long, and also next week, maybe over the weekend. Some of it I definitely want to get over the weekend. Is working on the Switch reviews for what I've been using now for 3 weeks, I think. Yeah, the purple pandas from 1UP keyboards, which I've definitely been enjoying. So I'm looking forward to being able to finally do the write-up on that and sharing my opinion.
It's not the grand mojo what sits on the hood. An ornament of great power for us. Look, he's out for spillage now.
Yeah, I don't know everything I will have to say in the review, obviously, because, you know, I'll need to actually write it first. But I do think I can say, I'm comfortable saying this much, that at the moment, because my favorite mechanical switch before, you know, the original original switches I had was the Boba U4 silent tactile switch. Come on, I want to blow that up. You gotta be kidding. Those are still my favorite, but these purple pandas are pretty close behind it. You know, I don't have a new build in mind, or at least one that I would be doing anytime soon. But it is... I just... guess do old-fashioned ramming it. Oop. Leave for a little bit. Because I think that will explode. On its own. Well, but, yeah, I could definitely see using this, these switches in another build. That they really are quite nice. And I will go into more detail when I get to actually writing it all up. And then after that, I've still got two more switches, both of which I will try to also lubricate before, so I get before and after, see the impact of lubrication. I already have some idea of that, of what the impact is. Yeah. It'll be fun. That's going to be a lot of work, though. But it should still be quite a lot of fun. So I actually haven't been there. I'm going to go there now. Alright, if you're gonna run, I'm not gonna bother you. There. What? Oh, it was just slow coming down. So yeah, and I am looking forward to doing the write-up on the purple pandas. I'm also looking forward to working with the other switches, which, and once I get that review written up, I'll be able to switch over to the first. The real trick, though, will be deciding what order I want to do. Because of the whole, since I will be lubricating them, and I do also want to be able to compare the two switches because they are related. It's just going to be a little awkward trying to cover some of that stuff. You know, by that I mean it's like covering dry to dry and then lubricating to lubricated might be a little bit tricky, because if I do like switch 1 then switch 2 dry, do I go back to switch 1 for a while dry and then lubricate? I guess I could do that. It would take longer, but that could be a way to do it that would be without any issue, as far as like, oh, it's been a while since I've touched this. Yeah, maybe that is what I'll do. It'll take more time, but it would get the job done well. Oop. Perfect, that finishes this off, except for the scanning. There it is. Just trying to think what else is there. I guess one thing that's more of a personal thing for me. The game Hard Space Shipbreaker got a major update this week. It's also... pretty sure it's on sale as part of the weekend sales on Steam. I've had that game 2-3 months now, and I have been enjoying it. So, might as well mention that. Give it some attention. It's a... I'm not entirely sure what it would count as. It's kind of a chill game, as some would put it. Where the premise to it is you work for a... well, it's set in the future, and you work for, one of the, mega corporations, a la what you see in the Alien franchise, OCP in RoboCop. And it is, a very ruthless company as well. And your purpose is to, take old ships and take them apart, so that the different parts can then be scrapped for funds, for money and such. Yeah, I have been enjoying it. It is a fairly chill game in that, it's not very difficult, especially now once you get a hang of it. And it just, way to sink time in that lets you focus on something. So, it is one of those, if you just need to, spend some time with a distraction, just get your mind off, whatever. It's definitely good for that. And it's also just, enjoyable on its own. It's not like you need to be in that kind of mood. But, I'm just hoping that describing it that way, you'll understand what I mean. It's, I'm just hoping that you're like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. And yeah, I could use a game that would be good at times like that. Or not. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe it doesn't interest you at all. I like it though, so, I'll mention it since it did have some news this week. Okay, I'm thinking good. I don't even think I'm at an hour yet. No, I'm at a little bit over 40. But I do want to try to deal with the enhanced edition stuff. At least if I can't get the straight on with Epic, what I can always do, I don't like that I would have to do it, but what I could do is Metro Exodus is one of the Humble Choice games, as is Darksiders Genesis, which I'm also interested in. But it would be the Steam edition of Metro Exodus and still come with the enhanced edition. So I could just, pay for that. And it's like, I shouldn't have to. Epic has things kind of screwed up. Which, I doubt that surprises anyone. And not just as a, like, oh yeah, they're so stupid, they don't know what they're doing kind of thing. Because there are some people that are like that. Where it's, they think that Epic, even getting involved in all that, they shouldn't have, and no, I'm not. I just mean, they're not, from the beginning, they've not impressed me with how they handle things for, like, reviews and stuff. Like, I still have, the test, version for, MechWarrior 5 in my library, because at least at the time, the Epic Games Store didn't have any capacity for, like, a beta channel type thing, which is how plenty of developers handle reviews for Steam, where it's just, here's a passcode so they can control who it is that has access.
By all that is holy!
Ow. Apparently that did count, though. I might need to go back up there, though, to get to it. So it's like that one's still there. The same sort of the third review build is still up there as its separate thing, and I don't technically have a copy of the remastered there. Like, I only have the test version. So it's like I don't have a proper version. Proper store-bought version or equivalent. And it's like, yeah, some of that I definitely put on Epic, not the devs or publishers. Yeah, it looks like I need to head up there again. See, I will get it straightened out one way or another, but it's also I don't know how much I will necessarily do with it. Do with the Enhanced Edition, since I only have the 2 GPUs to test with. And they're both RTX 20 series, so it's not like I've got 30 series to be interesting with it. It's not like I have AMD GPUs to compare with, so yeah. It still is, though, I want to be able to do some stuff. And that's more so the thing for me, is that I want to be able to do this. Why can't I not do this? Get to work.
Keep an eye out. No surprises.
Well, that was annoying timing. Okay, I'm... They can't keep just falling on top of me. Here we go. Alright. And I will go back. There was one thing that I did say in a previous video. I don't remember which one, if that was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. Just as a kind of, musing thing, and just thought in my mind that I thought worth sharing is, since I talked a little bit more about the rumors for the Fidelity Effects Super Resolution, that come on, brain turnover. I am still curious about how VOS may be able to work with some of this stuff. The variable rate shading. Because I, as I said at the time, I could believe that DLSS may have a hard time with it. Because, just it being later. I definitely do believe, though, that it could be figured out. I mean, that would be, if there is a problem, one that could be solved. And I do then also wonder with FSR if the rumor is true, is accurate, that it is earlier in the pipeline. If that would make it easier or harder to work with VOS. Yeah. But I'll also just say, I hate the names. Like, deep learning super sampling. It's like, you're not super sampling, though. I mean, at least I can kind of understand the naming there, just for the idea that the deep learning is applied to a super sample image, but what you're looking at isn't super sample. It's actually subsample. You're reducing the samples used relative to what the output image is. And up with. And also, super resolution is the same thing. It's like, super resolution. Super would imply over. I mean, I guess it is, you are going to a higher resolution than you're supposed to, but it's like, I get that it sounds good, though, for marketing purposes. It's super resolution. I mean, even if you are using, fewer samples, less samples to create the image. I mean, you wouldn't want to call it fidelity effects sub-resolution, that doesn't market so well. But, I mean, it's, you know... let's also try to do that. Oh! Just occurred to me, yeah, that's actually worth mentioning. Why didn't I think of that? Or rather think to put that on the note. Among the notes. A, Devolver Digital publisher sales going on Steam. I don't know why exactly I just thought of it now, other than just, for whatever reason, Loop Hero entered my mind. You know, I guess I was just thinking, what games have I played this week that I could also talk about? It's like, I actually haven't played that one this week, but that's a, you know, excellent game. There's a reason I'm leaving that game installed. And not just because of how tiny it is, that it fits well.
Oh, another such miscalculation could be deadly!
Yeah, that's one of the games on sale. Gris is as well, which that is also an easy game to recommend. Serious Sam 4, which I enjoyed, but I have seen some people say it's bad. It's like, I enjoyed it. And that's, you know, what I'm looking for. Plus, I like the whole wealth of settings it offers, including VOS. Yeah, that is one reason why I'm interested in the Enhanced Edition Metro Exodus, is just so that I finally have another game with that, another thing I can test with. Though, given the size of Metro Exodus, I wouldn't want to just leave it installed like I have with Serious Sam 4 on the test system. I could believe that it's half the size. I could check, but I could believe that Serious Sam 4 is half the size of Metro Exodus. I'm just trying to think if there's anything coming out. That's right, Biomutant is coming out end of the month. And part of my reminder to put in a request for a key for that is I have jury duty in a couple weeks. Which, depending on if I'm able to get a key, could complicate my ability to review the game on time. Yeah. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with that. What all else am I looking for? Just, for reasons everyone should be aware of, I'm sure. Don't need to say them. Jury duty is gonna be handled a little differently. Is all of them. Than it is normally. With, it's like, both times I've been called before, and it's like, actually needed to go to the building, to the courthouse building, and basically just wait in a room until being called. But now, you know, they don't want people to collect inside unless they need to be there, so it looks like the plan is you have to call in. So we'll, you know, do that to find out if I even need to go in, because it's possible that it'll be no, we don't need you today, so you don't need to come in. Not too thrilled about having to call. It would be nice if it could be, well, if not email, text, because of, you know, the reason with text, I'm not always good at hearing comprehension, whereas if I'm reading it, that's very helpful. Did have to use a texting system like that for DMV the other couple weeks ago now.
Better find the right one.
And that actually worked fairly well. Oh, I was hoping to go through it, not bounce off of it. I'll get that piece of scrap. That's it. But, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because it might be that they end up, it's like, this is the system that they have now to have it working, and they may develop a different system in the future for how they want to do it long term. Oh, you know what, since that is right there, why not? I only get to play this game once a week. Let me play it. But yeah, that is one thing that with the pandemic is going to be interesting to see long term, is the impact as far as like companies realizing that, oh, we can, you know, let people work remote, that previously we would not have entertained that idea. It's like, well, no, we now know that they can work remote. We have those systems figured out. And, you know, due to something else that, you know, could be impacted like that, you know, just figure out a way to figure out different ways of doing things that may prove more desirable, I guess would be a way to put it, if not better. Oh, one thing though, that did just cross my mind. Oh.
What is this?
But yeah, the thing that crossed my mind was that because of the if that rumor is accurate concerning not VSR, FSR, and that it needs to be present early in the pipeline, or that it is present early in the pipeline, even though that it now was said there was that it is easy to implement, easy for developers to implement, that would still, at least to me, suggest that it could not be injected on the driver's side. Maybe it could be. Maybe it's actually early enough that the driver would be able to intercept and do stuff. But I don't necessarily have high hope that that is what it would translate to. Alright, let's see about what upgrades. Oh yeah, let's actually see what it is I've got. Handling boost and defense boost. It's okay. I got defense and attack boost already. Alright, I don't use that enough to really warrant. Great. Here we go, I do use this a lot. And what is... Okay, so that'll actually be able to get for long. Well, sort of. We'll see. Yeah, a lot of this stuff I know is gated currently behind story progression. But that's fine. I mean, this, it genuinely is how I like to play my game. It is to... I should actually go through here. And also I need to... it's through pause over there that I actually stop. Yeah, it's genuinely... I prefer... What is... Yeah, let's do this upgrade. I do prefer being able to clear everything out before advancing, because that way I know I have everything I need, I know I'm going to be powerful enough, stuff like that. It's nice. Plus, if there's anything that changes the map, basically, then I don't have to worry about it so much. You know, like, you go so far and then suddenly, oh, there's new enemy classes. Or just enemies are scaled up. It's nice to be able to avoid that. At least sometimes it is. Alright, yeah, I got nothing more to say. None I can think of, anyway. Do need to take down the test system so I can hopefully... I'll stick an RTX, probably the RTX 2016 there, see how that goes, and yeah. Hopefully get this stuff sorted out with Epic. Alright, see you next time.